Fight fixing. It's the kind of thing you hear about in boxing movies. Not in the UFC, but this time it's not a rumor whispered on forums. It's a real fight, real money, and real sportsbooks refunding bets because something didn't smell right. Welcome back to Sports Cash Files. Today, we're breaking down the story shaking fight sports. The UFC betting scandal that's got regulators, fans, and fighters all asking, was this a fix? It happened at the UFC Apex in Las Vegas, UFC Vegas 110. It was Saturday night. A small card broadcast quietly on ESPN+. The featherweight matchup, Isaac Dogarian, unbeaten and heavy favorite at -240, versus newcomer Yadier Del Valle, a name most fans hadn't even Googled yet. Then the odds started to move. Fast. Within an hour of the walkouts, thousands poured onto Del Valle to win early. Books slashed his price, some pulled prop bets completely. The fight started, and within 4 minutes, Dogarian was tapping to a first-round rear naked choke. Moments later, sportsbooks did something they almost never do. They refunded losing bets. Fans saw their accounts credited back like the fight never happened. And that's when social media lit up. Was the fight fixed? Why would they refund unless they knew something? The speculation exploded. Within 24 hours, multiple outlets reported Dogarian had been quietly released from the roster. The UFC stayed silent, and that silence only made the noise louder. Integrity analysts started connecting dots. This wasn't the first time odds had gone haywire before a UFC fight. In 2022, a fight between Darrick Minner and Shailin Nurdanbeka saw suspicious betting on a first-round knockout. Minner entered injured. Was stopped in seconds, and the Nevada Commission launched an inquiry. That scandal led to the suspension of coach James Krause, a betting podcast host, and it also forced the UFC to ban anyone connected to him. So when Vegas 110 showed the same red flags, heavy last-minute action, perfect prediction, and refunds, everyone's alarm bells went off. After the Krause case, the UFC brought in IC360, a company that monitors betting lines across hundreds of sportsbooks, and Prohibet, which blocks fighters, coaches, and staff from gambling on regulated books as well. These systems track what they call the 3 V's: velocity, volume, and variance. Velocity, how fast odds move. Volume, how much money hits the market. Variance, how far the odds jump compared to similar fights. If those 3 metrics spike together, the software flags it. Regulators get alerts within minutes. But here's the catch. MMA is the easiest major sport to manipulate without actually fixing anything. There are fewer athletes, tiny markets on props like round 1 submission, and payouts that can swing with just a few $1,000s of smartly timed bets. That's why a refund isn't proof of crime. It's proof that the data looked bad enough to threaten trust. So, how does a fight cross the line from sketchy to suspicious? Imagine a fighter nursing an injury. Or a coach knowing his guy cut 20 pounds in 2 days. That's inside information. Legal to know, illegal to use for betting. If that leaks to the wrong person, a few quiet bets placed offshore can tilt an entire market. In sports like tennis and cricket, that kind of leak has led to full match-fixing bans. In MMA, where one mistake ends a fight, it's even easier to hide. That's the gray area UFC regulators are now trying to police. Not just fixing outcomes, but exploiting probabilities that only insiders know. So here's what's confirmed. The Dogarian-Del Valle fight happened at UFC Vegas 110. Oddsmakers saw abnormal line movement before the bout. Sportsbooks refunded certain bets immediately after. The fighter was later released. What's not confirmed? Any proven fix, any criminal or regulatory finding naming individuals, any public comment from the UFC beyond no wrongdoing found so far. It's an integrity investigation, not a conspiracy, but the damage to public trust is the same. If fans stop trusting results, the whole sport cracks. Sponsors vanish, regulators step in, and suddenly betting, the money engine behind fight sports, becomes a liability. The UFC built itself on legitimacy after years of being labeled barbaric. Integrity is the new frontier they can't afford to lose. So, do you think the UFC should make these investigations public? Or would that kill the brand's image completely? Drop your thoughts below. And if you want the stories that live behind the scoreboard, you're already in the right place. This is Sports Cash Files, where money and sports combine. Subscribe for more.